Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Skyblock Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Today, we're back here in the Skyblock world and we got some fun stuff to take care of. Not least because in this chest down the end here, as of the last episode, we managed to get ourselves some splash potions of weakness, meaning that all we'll need to do now is find some zombie villagers and we can hopefully cure them to get villagers, and then the rest of Skyblock opens up to us a little bit more. We have potion brewing now, which is very exciting. We have a fortress set up in the nether, and I haven't done any more to expand the farm there really. All I've been doing off camera between the last episode and this one is farming a little bit more cobble, and even that we don't have a huge amount of. I kind of need to gather a little bit more for what I want to do today. But the fact remains that curing a zombie villager is even more possible, so we're going to have to do something about this hostile mob spawner, because it doesn't really provide a great way of us to sort out the zombie villagers from anything else that spawns inside of there. A lot of it just falls and is close to death. So I think what I want to do is set up a different and more efficient spawning platform with a view not necessarily to killing all of the mobs to get XP and drops and that kind of thing, but to specifically try and sort out the zombies from the other mobs. And that's going to be a bit of a challenge with the resources we have available to us right now, but I think we're just going to do it the lo-fi way. We're going to build a spawning platform down at the bottom of the world, spawn a ton of stuff in there, and try and take care of it manually. Either have it drop into the void, or in the case of any zombie villagers that spawn, we'll try and lure them into an area where we can gather them up and cure them. Now, building stuff down at the bottom of the world is going to make the most sense for spawn rates, but ideally I want the villagers to be up here. So how are we going to get them up here if we don't really have much in the way of transportation? That problem has been solved by the fact that we are now able to farm soul sand, and we have a decent amount of soul sand over here that is currently growing some of the nether wart for potion brewing, but it's also farmable from wither skeletons now, which is very, very useful indeed. And soul sand, of course, can be used to make bubble column elevators, which are going to be able to propel anything that we have down at the bottom of the world here upwards, which is going to be incredibly useful for some mechanics we're going to try out in the near future. But right now, I want to show you guys how to get kelp in this Skyblock pack, which is something I was informed of in the comments, or perhaps in the chat on one of my live streams. I can't quite remember, but it is actually possible to get kelp, even though kelp naturally generates normally in the world. I think you can also maybe buy it from the Wandering Trader, but in this case, a crafting recipe has been provided in the form of crafting together 4 pieces of seagrass, which is possible to obtain if you bone meal any watery area and then shear the results with some shears. You put 4 pieces of seagrass together in a 2x2 crafting interface, you get yourself some kelp, and I'm pretty sure kelp can be grown with bone meal. I don't know for certain if it can or not. Right now we don't have enough space to really check, but I can always take that over to my fishing island over here in the jungle biome and take a look at what we can do there. This pond is at least a couple of blocks deep, so let's see if we can do this. Let's try it out. Nope, does not look like we can bone meal the kelp, which makes a lot of sense, but now at least we can be over here bone mealing this area and growing a whole lot more seagrass. The 2 tall seagrass is going to give us 2 pieces per shear, so that's going to be slightly more efficient in terms of durability consumption, and now we can make ourselves a couple more pieces of kelp, and we are on the way to creating a water column should we need it. And personally, I'm kind of tempted to replace any ladder-based areas of, vertical travel in our world with water drops and water columns. It's going to be a lot quicker to get around that way. But yeah, if you want to use the durability on your shears efficiently, you should really be looking for tall areas of seagrass, because they'll only take 1 durability for 2 pieces of seagrass gathered, and then we can turn all of that into kelp and just remove the rest of this by punching it out, bone meal the ground underneath here, and repeat that process until we have as much kelp as I think we will need. We're also going to keep a little bit of this seagrass around though, because I have a plan to recover that turtle egg that we used in our early mob spawner, and I'm actually going to try and get the turtles to hatch in this episode. So we're going to have a couple of new friends today. It's either going to be a villager or a turtle or both, and hopefully we'll also be able to kill some slime down on that platform over there. At the slime spawning platform, we're going to get ourselves a few slime balls from which we can start to craft magma cream, allowing us to brew some potions of fire resistance, which are going to make the nether a little bit more bearable. But we're going to stash the kelp and the seagrass in one of our chests here for now. I think I'll probably leave them in this one where some of the other organic stuff is hanging out, and I think we will keep that for the minute. For now, I think I want to go after those slimes, because that's going to be a nice, easy objective for the start of this episode. I have a sword in here, I have an axe for damage as well, and I think I'll put the shears away because those are a little bit more precious. Likewise, some of this food. I'll take a bow with me, and we're going to do our best to take on some of these slimes without getting bounced off the platform. Back down here at the bottom of the world, I have removed the barrier that was protecting us from the slimes, and oh, okay, that was some gunpowder. I was hoping that the zombie dropped another iron ingot there. I'm kind of in need of a little bit more iron, and I'm going to have to wait until we get villagers on the go before I can really mess with any more iron stuff. But yes, the slimes over here are out here and have been out here for a little while, but I have had them blocked off for the most part, thanks to a too high barrier that just prevented some of the larger slimes from bouncing their way towards me. But for the most part, they haven't really bothered me too much. It's just when they start to see you like this, when this slime eventually pathfinds its way over, it will potentially see the player, and instead of jumping off the platform like that one is doing, it will come after you. So I'm going to widen out the area towards this platform just so I can get this a little bit easier for these slimes to make their way towards us, and I can be on slightly firmer ground when they decide to attack. The big slimes will do a bit of damage, but the most dangerous aspect of them in this scenario is just them knocking you off the platform into the void. So hopefully we can avoid that now. We could always put a little walkway over to this if we want to, but I'm not going to do too much to this right now because we are going to convert this into a hostile mob spawning platform in a second or two. First of all, though, I need to get a little bit further away, and that's going to allow the slimes to spawn in that area. Probably take out some of these mobs as we go, just to make sure that there is less of a mob cap in the world, and yet we have a tiny slime over there. Of course, we have to be 23 blocks away from the platform for the slime to even spawn, and there we go. We got ourselves an advancement for getting a slime ball. Great stuff. That should, in theory, be all we need, but we may as well farm some slimes over here while we can, right? The other thing about slimes is, of course, when they split apart, if they're too close to the edge, then they're just going to split apart into 4 slimes, which will go their separate ways and then usually drop off the side of the island there. But now we have ourselves 4 slime balls, which is good going. I think I'll get enough to make a couple of slime blocks, and then I will call it a day. There we go. Here's a big lad. Let's see if we can lure him over to my little mob farming area a little bit more. There we go, and let's... Oh, I just broke my sword on him. Let's switch to the axe then. Sounds like some of my armor is breaking as well. Yep, one of the larger slimes did just drop off the edge, and now we've got 4 of them, which hopefully should yield us a few slime balls in loot drops. There we go, we got 8 slime now. Doubled our money, and all it took was a broken sword and a little bit of broken armor. Never mind, got some more leather armor here in the chest. I'm ready for number 2. Let's bring him on. Oh, it looks like he's about to jump off the island. Let's see if we can get him a little bit closer. Yep, he just broke tunic number 2. Oh, wow, okay, we got a lot more slimes this time around. Let's see if we can take them all down one at a time. The little ones won't do all that much to hurt you once they are that size. They are nice and easy to take out with a single swing, and there we go, 18. Once again, doubling our money, even better. I figure 18 is probably a good place to wrap that up, and I think the only thing we're going to do to prevent slimes from spawning over here is to turn this into a room that has a 2-block high ceiling, just so if slimes try and spawn in here, they won't have enough space to spawn a large slime, which basically means that they won't try to spawn slimes here at all, and the rest of the mobs in the game should be able to spawn in here. Obviously, we won't get any Endermen as well, but I'm not really in need of Endermen now that I know that the end portal, which we discovered in the last episode, does not need Eyes of Ender in order to transport us to the end. In fact, the end portal has already been lit. And a couple of slimes have spawned while I was just away making some slabs, so maybe we'll get a couple more slime balls out of these, but yeah, I think that will definitely do. Right, let's get the rest of this ceiling built on top of here. I'm going to leave this torch out in the center of the platform here. That's not quite reaching the edges, so we are getting a couple of lower light levels around the sides there, but hopefully that should not be enough space to spawn a huge amount of mobs. It's not going to be an absolute army of stuff coming back at me. Yeah, I really need to bring some more slabs over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is bring some trapdoors as well, and lay some trapdoors in somewhere around the center of this walkway so that we can stand far enough away to assess what spawns in here, and then if stuff starts pathfinding towards us, like creepers and zombies and so forth, we can open up those trapdoors and let them fall into the void. Once we see a zombie villager, however, we will let it track out towards us, and then we're going to try and find a place to coop it up. I'm going to leave the sides open because much like our husk farm, I want this to be a night activated mob spawner, meaning that it's only really going to produce mobs at night when light levels are a little bit lower, and this right here is going to be our mechanism to ensure that nothing gets beyond this point. But already it looks like we have a zombie villager spawned over there, and he is holding a shovel, which I'm not certain means that he won't despawn, but hopefully it means that he will be a little bit more interested in following us. And he just walked off the platform into the void. So, of course, we are going to have to deal with some of the stuff that is spawning over there. We did get a skeleton that spawned on the top level of the farm there as well. But with those, at least we have a decent amount of arrows and bows in here that I can use to snipe stuff off the top of that platform in the meantime. And you'll find that this platform over here is actually a lot more productive than the platform we built up there, for the simple reason that this platform is down at the void level. So we're going to get a lot of stuff spawning over here. Hopefully, we should be able to get some of these to track us over here, and some of them will just end up fighting each other. The creepers should just fall harmlessly into the void, like so, and the skeletons we can pick off from a distance. Eventually, once we have some more sophisticated ways of taking care of the mobs inside of here, we are going to decommission this old mob spawner completely, and we should hopefully be able to set up a system that will collect drops automatically. All of that is going to require a little bit of iron, though, so here is hoping that we can get some villagers set up so we have an iron farm on the go nice and quickly. But in the meantime, while they're not quite far enough away for us to get the sniper duel advancement, at least we can get rid of some of the mobs over here from a distance and leave the platform open for more hostiles to spawn in the meantime. Taking out that torch in the center as well and running back over here, we should find plenty of mobs end up spawning in here as soon as we are away. Look at that. There are so many mobs starting to spawn over there right now, and this little spawner over here is still active too. Looks like we got a lot of zombies walking towards us, but none of them are zombie villagers as of yet. So hopefully we'll start to get a couple of those spawning in the spawner in the fullness of time. In the meantime, though, I'm going to cut away since this is just going to be a lot of waiting around for the most part, and I will see you guys on the other side when hopefully a zombie villager will have caught our attention. Okay, folks, nice and early, we got a very good set of spawns here. We have one zombie and one zombie villager who looks like he's a librarian for now, but that is going to change. I have these two little cells set up over here with a quick trapdoor trap, which should hopefully be enough to get the zombie and the zombie villager into a single pen. Fantastic. Now, I just broken my axe on him, so I'm going to have to be very, very careful. Surgical. And look at that. He picked up the rotten flesh. Incredible. Okay, that means we have our first zombie villager trapped in there and absolutely primed to be cured. I can't believe that went so smoothly. Okay, let's close up, or rather open up these trapdoors so that the rest of the zombies in here can deplete. Night 1, a success. I can't believe it. So good. And that was pure luck based on the fact that this zombie villager spawned with a nice early pack when there were very few other mobs in there in the first place. Hopefully, we will get a couple more spawns like that. I'm prepared to wait, to be honest, if that's going to be the case, because otherwise there's a lot of mobs in there to deal with at a time. And in the meantime, I guess I can always just keep farming these guys, hopefully to get some more iron, or at the very least, some more chain armor. The advantage to this setup, though, is that zombies have a much longer tracking range towards the player than skeletons or creepers do, meaning that they are effectively separating themselves out of this pack whenever they spawn inside of there. For now, though, oh wow, okay, I think the slime chunk may extend a little way onto the platform there, but yeah, I think we can probably start taking out some of these folks at a distance and loosening up the pack in here so that more zombies can spawn. Okay, so we got one zombie villager down there resting in his crate. Another zombie villager will hopefully pop up out of the spawner, but it is daytime and I want to use my time wisely. So I think what I'm going to do is actually start to take down this mob spawner. We're not going to need it for the foreseeable future, especially with a spawning platform like that and potentially some better designs on the horizon. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the spiders that are in here and check that, yes, the turtle egg has remained intact. That is very, very good news. This area here probably can be opened up, and I'm going to be a little bit safe just in case there are still creepers lurking in the corners down there. I'm just going to pop a torch in there, and hopefully that should disable this spawner completely. What that means is that we can disable this thing so that that mob spawning platform becomes all the more efficient, and we can also open this up to get at the turtle egg, which is in dire need of hatching at this point. So what I am proposing we do is to turn this area here into a turtle sanctuary of sorts, because as people have noted, without Silk Touch we cannot pick up and move that turtle egg, but there's nothing to stop us from hatching it here along with the other turtle egg and turning this area into a turtle breeding operation while we have an effective mob spawner down there and ways of dealing with those mobs, plus all the mob drops we could ever want for the time being at least. I think it will be fun to turn this into a custom island that's going to have water. There's going to be some sand around here now. We are farming sand from husks over on that island, and that is what turtle eggs require in order to hatch. So I'm going to head back up to this island and grab a few resources that we can use to turn this into a little artificial island. As long as the perimeter is secure and the turtles cannot escape, we will hopefully be able to breed turtles there and then get ourselves some more turtle eggs that we can use in more advanced farms further down the line. So to start with, I've got a bunch of natural stone, some cobblestone and some slabs here. I brought some sand and I've made myself some jungle fences with the supplies to make a few more, because what we will need here is an area where the turtles cannot escape off the edge of the island, because I have a feeling turtle AI is probably not the brightest and is potentially going to have them falling off into the void if they try and swim around too much. Tempting as it is to use these bats for target practice, they actually constitute a threat to the turtle egg. If they accidentally drop onto it from above, then they can sort of count as crushing the turtle egg, so I'm going to try and dispose of as many of those as I can, but the others do just seem to be flying around in the open sky at this point, so hopefully we don't have to worry too much about them. I'm going to flatten everything out to the level of this mob spawning floor, where instead of spawning mobs now, this is hopefully going to be spawning a few more baby turtles, and we will need a solid floor on which to place all of the sand that the turtle eggs are going to be hatching on. And yes, that does include this turtle egg in here, where my initial thought was that we would have to kind of Indiana Jones it a little bit and push the block out from underneath that with a piston to swap it with a block of sand, but it turns out that turtle eggs are actually a little bit cooler than that, and they will stay hovering in the air even if the block underneath them is removed. So all I have to do is break that cobblestone block there and the turtle egg remains. I'm going to pop some sand underneath that, and then on subsequent nights it should start to go through the stages of the hatching process. The main thing, of course, is to make sure that absolutely nothing can spawn in this area when the turtle egg is exposed to the open air, because if a zombie comes in here and jumps up and down on that turtle egg, it is unfortunately game over. Not for Skyblock in general, of course, but for the turtle egg, definitely. So let's break away a few of these blocks. Hopefully nothing ends up landing on the turtle egg. I'm not even sure if the trapdoor item entities, when we break them, ending up on the turtle egg might cause a problem, but in this case I'm just going to try and break them carefully, pick them up as I can, and that should be okay. We could even enclose this a little bit more. I'm not certain they need access to the open sky in order to hatch, so we don't need to worry too much about that. We just need to light up this platform as best we can, and then bring the other turtle egg down here so the two turtles can meet once they are old enough to start breeding. Working a little bit on this island here to make sure that there is a little bit of a stretch of sand that we could plant future turtle eggs on, but it does seem like night is falling once again. This means a couple of things. One, that our turtle egg might potentially go through another phase of the hatching process. If we start to see some cracks forming in that turtle egg, we will know that it is working as intended, but it also means that we can get down to the spawner and see if we can get ourselves another zombie villager. So I'm going to leave this well enough alone for now. I will do my best to wall it off to make sure that if a turtle did somehow hatch in a single night, which I don't think is possible, but if it does, I'll make sure that the walls here are high enough that it cannot go anywhere and escape. And for now, we're going to do our best to get ourselves another zombie villager. Excellent news, my friends. Out from the horde of zombies crossing the bridge comes this absolute legend. Let's see if we can get him into our other zombie corralling pen. Let's close up the trapdoor once we're in here, and yes, he and another zombie have made their way in. It looks like they are trying to get me from around the outside, but if we close them in like so. We can take care of this other zombie and hopefully close up the bridge as swiftly as possible, making sure we take care of these guys. Thankfully, that guy could be knocked back nice and easily, and all we'll need to do is close up this area, and this has served its purpose. I cannot believe that we've been able to do that easily, but thankfully, we had the right methods on our side. There we go. Thank you so much, sir. And if we close this up, let's see if this guy will hold any items. It looks like he can't because he is not actually accepting the rotten flesh or the stone that I've thrown down there. So it might not be possible to cure this guy. That was a bit of an oversight on my part. I should have brought the curing supplies down here right now. The problem is, though, if we end up curing these villagers, they immediately become a target for any other zombies in the area. Not that that's going to be a problem right here, but I should have been a little bit better prepared. Let's light this area of the platform up, and hopefully we will be okay just to dash up the ladder and come back with a splash potion. Remember, of course, that the despawn distance is anywhere outside of 32 blocks, and we are definitely about 64 blocks up in the air on our island. I'm hoping that the zombie villager won't despawn in the time that we are away. If he does, not a big deal, because I guess we can always trap another one, but it would be really nice to get those 2 villagers cured and out of the way so that we can focus on other things, set up a villager breeder, and all kinds of stuff. So let's bring down 2 splash potions, even though we should only need 1. I'm going to try my best to rush down there, although I don't want to accidentally fall into the void, because that would be a nightmare at this point. And it looks like we are in luck. Wow, there were a ton of bats in there. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. Okay, I need to put torches in there with them to make sure that the zombies don't have anything else spawning in there while they are curing. And man, those bats are a little bit crazy inside of there. That is wild. Okay, and now we should be able to splash them both with a potion of weakness like so. Cure 1. Cure 2, and we all need to stay around here so that this villager can cure and he doesn't despawn, but it looks like we might have our 2 zombie villagers. It always helps to have a backup though, and if another zombie villager happens to spawn over here during the night, which it looks like he won't, the sun is now rising, but I have a 3rd cell now set up over here, allowing us to hop up onto this wall and potentially drag in another zombie villager. But nope, looks like we might be out of luck for tonight, but I think we've had enough luck to last us a little while in the form of these 2 guys who should hopefully be done curing sometime in the next 3 or 4 minutes. There it is, we have one of them cured, and it's this guy here on the right. The one on the left has just cured as well. Amazing stuff. And naturally, they have immediately reverted to being unemployed, regular villagers ready to receive their workstations. And we will have to choose their occupations quite carefully. We have a couple of villager workstations already present up there on my island. We have a composter and we have a brewing stand. That would be a farmer and a cleric. Now, we probably want to choose professions that will allow us to trade emeralds with these guys, but ultimately they are going to be the start of a villager breeder. So I think one of them being a farmer would be a good idea. One of them being some other profession, it doesn't really matter all that much. And we have some crops that we could trade with a farmer already. We have some rotten flesh that we could trade with a cleric. It seems like we'd be fairly safe picking those occupations as long as we could breed these 2, and then their offspring could give us all of the other villager professions. Right now, I'm most interested in getting things like an armorer and a toolsmith, because those would give us access to tools and armor that we do not have the resources to make right now. But unfortunately, if we go into the uncraftable stuff, the toolsmith would need a blast furnace, which requires 5 iron in order to make it, and a smithing table even, I think, requires 2 iron for the top level there. So we are going to have to find a way of getting some iron some other way in the meantime, which might mean setting up an iron golem farm. It might mean just farming a few more zombies if we can. I don't quite know at this stage, but I'm so happy that we have 2 villagers in our Skyblock world finally. That is massive progress right here. With this little setup I've given them, with torches inside of their trapdoors on the blocks in front of them and fences around the outside, none of the other zombies and so forth that might spawn around here should be able to get to them. Even baby zombies will not be able to make it up onto this trapdoor or through the gap in front of the villagers. So they are as safe as can be for now, and I am probably going to go and continue working on my little turtle sanctuary, making sure that is spawn proof, and hopefully the turtle eggs will have gone through at least one of the progression of hatching. Yep, looks like it has gone through one of the hatching stages. So we have a slightly cracked turtle egg. The hatch level has gone up to 1. And the cool thing about this is we can just leave this one turtle egg here for now. And then when it reaches the next hatching stage, or the third and final hatching stage, we can plant the other turtle egg with it. Both turtles will hatch at the same time, and they should hopefully hatch and grow up together. Once they've both grown up, of course, we'll be able to breed them, and that will give us more turtle eggs that will allow us to do more stuff with turtles and turtle eggs in the near future. I'm hoping for potentially enough scoots to make myself a turtle shell helmet, which would be kind of fun to have here in a Skyblock world. I know the water breathing isn't really going to be that beneficial, but as an additional source of armor, it is not to be overlooked. Let's think a little bit more about what the villagers will need to breed, because they need professions, they will need beds also, and we will need to make enough beds that both the villagers can sleep in and any of their offspring can sleep in. Villager breeding is triggered by a bunch of beds which do not have any occupants. Not to mention having enough carrots, potatoes, or bread in their inventory in order for them to be well fed enough to breed. I think we're going to try and isolate them from my farm area though, because if a farmer gets up here and decides to start working the field, it means I won't be able to harvest the crops myself. He will just take them all into his inventory and pass them around to other villagers. So instead what we'll probably do is set up a separate area for the two villagers to breed, which has maybe its own crop farm so he can keep the rest of the villagers inside there well fed. For now though, I'm actually going to take the composter and the brewing stand down there and get trading with them, because I kind of want to have some emeralds on deck next time a wandering trader shows up. Believe me, wandering traders are actually super useful in this game compared to how useless I normally find them in my vanilla survival guide series. The wandering trader will actually have a bunch of resources that it's going to be difficult to get outside of just a little bit of intense farming, and not to mention the fact that they will be able to sell us some more dark oak saplings, which means I can start producing dark oak wood again. So before I set up a water stream to get the villagers up to the island, I think I'm going to do a little bit of trading with them first and potentially lock in the trades that they have. Keeping these trapdoors here in front of them so they can't go anywhere, I'm going to break out that piece of cobblestone and place a composter in front of this guy, and he is going to be our farmer. And look at that, so we even have a little bit of a trading discount thanks to the fact that we cured them from zombie villagers. Making both of these farmers might be a good idea if we want to explore the full set of trades, but I think this one, being a cleric, is going to be incredibly useful for the fact that he will be able to trade us for rotten flesh, which I have a bunch of here in the chest, which means we'll be able to start getting emeralds from him, and with that, we can buy redstone. Oh yes! Now the full extent of Skyblock has opened up to us a little bit more, and we have the access to redstone. We can sell gold to him for emeralds. We can get lapis from him as well, which we couldn't get before. This is fantastic. I'm so happy we have these guys in our world at long last. And after just a couple of trades with our cleric, I have 10 emeralds. That's enough for an emerald block. That's so good. Okay, we have an emerald block. We have another emerald that we can trade with this guy. We'll need to lock those in before they change, although if I go away and come back, he might have decided to trade me something different, so we might have to replace the composter a few more times. But being able to buy redstone is a massive step up from what we were going to have to do before, which was effectively farm witches, and a witch hut could be transplanted into this world from a newer version of the map, but right now a witch hut does not exist, so we wouldn't be able to set up a witch farm in this world until we maybe copied and pasted a region from Skyblock 4.07 into my Skyblock 4.06 world. Buying redstone from that cleric combined with the quartz that we're now getting from blazes might allow me to set up a slightly more advanced clock on our husk farm that we have over there, provided that I could get a couple of hoppers, but even then I could set up a redstone repeater clock and just activate it with a lever or something like that. We could do a lot more now that we have access to that redstone. Let me grab a handful of carrots and potatoes. We can always harvest some more from the farm if we need to. Let's get those traded with the farmer while we can. Hopefully his trades have remained the same while I was away. Yes, okay, we have a carrot and a potato trade. Absolutely perfect. Let's trade all of those with him and see what he gives us next. That is pumpkin pie. 4 pumpkin pie for an emerald. Our food supplies are through the roof right now, but I'm more interested in trading the crops with him so that we can get a heftier supply of emeralds. Gentlemen, welcome to your new homes here in Skyblock, and hopefully we'll be able to set up a bunch more villager trades once we can get these two up and in an area where they can breed. But as the sun sets in the distance, I think think we are going to call it a day for this episode of the Skyblock Survival Guide. We have our traders, we have some turtles hatching, we have a little bit of slime that we can use to make magma cream if we want to go back to the nether and fight some more blazes. It's been a great episode, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please don't forget to leave a like on this episode if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.